Okay, we have a 40 Merc today.
A V8 motor, baby, smarter design, black convertible top, and the girls don't mind. Sporting with me, riding all around town.
Mr. Ruben, longtime friend, counsel, burrito buddy, old school knowledge, Supremo, all around awesome. He has this wonderful 40 Mercury convertible. I have been working on this and I haven't shown you guys, so for that I do apologize. I took out its crusty floor, I redid its crusty frame, and put in a TCI Mustang 2 and a Ford 8.8 with a 4-link, which, as you know, on the Nash, it was my go-to as well. So we ordered all these parts kind of at the same time. But this frame I sandblasted and then took apart and put all this stuff in, re-sandblasted it, painted it. We were able to go grab the body at that point, bring it in, and start replacing some of the serious amounts of cancer this car has. The floor I made bead rolled, same with the kick panel and the firewall, which I believe came out pretty well. Surprisingly, with this Mercury, don't quote me on this, but I believe the Mercury is a little bit longer in the front, which is why when I stuck in the small block, which I already had in here, now it's taken out, didn't need to protrude into the firewall. I had St. George Transmission redo the transmission for me. I have the engine up at Snow Performance Machine with Glenn and Earl. Wheelsmith just sent us these wheels. I just got them in today. I ordered some Wheelsmith wheels for the 55 Mercury, which we'll talk about someday, because obviously it's been coming along. As for today, I need to just start replacing some of this rust in the front here. I still have my doors welded shut. I had to weld the doors shut because this thing was flapping around without the floor and all that. So I wanted to make sure to get my gaps right, and I just did that, welded the door shut, and then we pulled the body off the frame. So, you know, it was kind of being a shaky until kind of starting to get this rust replaced. So what I'm still worried about is the cowl moving. You know, if I cut the doors open, is it going to kind of sag down because we're not totally secure into these rails that I put in. I went ahead and put in a rail instead of the original multi-piece section they had there, but it's just really crusty down in these lower sections. So, and this is actually the good side, the other side's even worse. What we want to do is kind of just focus on one piece at a time here. We're not gonna, you know, try to cut a bunch of stuff out and then figure out every little piece. What we're gonna do is start off by, this is pretty rusted out, but it kind of has this nice factory edge here. So what I want to do, what you might want to do, is put this piece behind this just like it was, so then you don't have to weld this whole seam. All you got to do is weld your spot welds in here as you come down. The thing that I'm going to change about this piece is, instead of stopping here, I'm going to take it all the way down this box tube and come across. So this piece can be welded in there, it'll be solid welded here, and then I can spot weld it into my box tube here to add that rigidity that I'm looking for here. This section we can probably just do a bead here, and then this will eventually get a cap that kind of rolls into here or something along those lines. So what I'm going to do now, as you've seen before and you'll see in the future and you'll see in the present, that I like using folder paper. It's just a little bit better for making templates. So what I'm going to do is kind of put this in here and start figuring out, you know, where this piece is going to be. I'll do something like that. That kind of push on it like that, it'll kind of give you that line to know where you're at. So get our line there. Then we got pretty close to what our piece needs to be here. So got our piece of 18 gauge, which is usually what I use on most everything. Get our little pattern down here and kind of see best way it'll fit. Mark it out. And there's our piece. Okay. I got some spot weld holes drilled in this piece. Got our spot weld holes drilled out on this piece. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this piece started to be fit in. Now, some people like to take their piece and get it perfectly bent and everything before it goes in. I kind of wing it a little bit more. I like to work the piece while it's on the car. So I'll be tacking in a few spots, hammering it, maybe putting in some self-tappers to suck it in tight on, like this pinch weld here, and then finish welding it up. Some of it I'll use like in these spot welds, I'll set my welder up to like 1/8 inch, because you want to get that real hot centered weld and then a little rosette out of it. But on something like this, where it's just going to be a butt weld, I'll put it back down to like an 18 gauge setting. Okay, there's our first piece. You kind of see what I was talking about with the spot welds there. We'll grind it and make them look pretty at some point. Now we need to make this piece here with this bead roll. That bead roll is going to come all the way down our piece here to make it look factory, you know. After cutting this apart, you can see we got another piece to replace inside of there. So we'll be cutting that out, spot welding a piece in that bends into this and welds onto our rail here as well. So once again, we're going to be making a little template of our piece in here to replace this. I want it to be folded so it can be welded onto our support rail in here. Let's call it a rocker, inner rocker. Let's call it an inner rocker. So on our inner rocker, we'll have a piece attached, and will be attached to our piece here. So something like that. We'll find our edge here. line that we kind of made with the, kind of see that faint dirt line made with the crease there. So I want to go further out than that so I can spot weld that in. Make something kind of like that. Pieces in here for our inner structure, and so I'm gonna just get him welded in, and same thing, I'm gonna kind of work it as I go. So that's our inner piece welded in, one we didn't notice until after it was opened up. What I want to do while this is open is paint that inside. It'll be the last chance that it could get any kind of protection. This other little rusty piece that we have in there is actually a pretty serious mount, and that's why I'm not messing with him. I'll show you the one on the other side here. So he's actually pretty thick. It's more like 1/8 inch, and so he's fine. He'll survive. But gonna get a little paint in there, and then we'll start on the outside pieces.
A V8 motor, baby, smart and designed, black convertible top, and the girls don't mind. Sporting with